to Girls in the Fast Lane. I'm Ash.
And I'm Grace.
And today we have Jessica Hawkins with us. Very blessed to have her on the podcast today. Tell us a little bit about your journey so far into motorsport. We know that you're Aston Martin Ambassador and you drove with W Series, but what have you been up to? How did you get there?
Well, firstly, thank you for having me. It's nice to be here. How did I first start? So I had my first go when I was either 7 or 8. Can't remember exactly. But it was nothing more than something that I saw in the distance and basically begged my dad to let me have a go. It wasn't something that my parents, had driven into me, excuse the pun, since I was, a baby. It was just something that I saw and begged to do, and here I am 20 years later, still here. I don't think, either myself or my parents ever thought that I would still be here making a career from it. But yeah, no, it's been a roller coaster of a journey. There's been ups, there's been downs, and yeah, here we are 20 years later.
Wow. That's a long time.
I know.
That's awesome.
I know, it also makes me feel really old.
Not old at all.
No. You're still a baby.
Still got the wrapping paper on it.
Yeah. We are Aston Martin fans. A large part of that is due to the core values the team has. In 2021, you signed with Aston Martin. That seems like a wild ride. Was it a pinch me moment?
I remember actually the first ever initial conversation was nothing more than a brief conversation on the phone that said, if this role was available, would you be interested? And of course I said yes. I'd bite your hand off, actually. And I didn't hear anything again for about 6 months after, so you can imagine how, like sitting on that information that may or may not happen for 6 months. So it was a really exciting but nervous time. But then, yeah, all of a sudden, once that 6 months had passed, and I had another phone call, it all happened really, really quickly. And it was a really fast process from then on. But yeah, still here, year 3. I feel very much part of the team. I absolutely love it here. They're amazing. They are a group of amazing, amazing people, and I'm a very, very lucky girl.
6 months is a long time to wait. Good on you.
Yeah.
I mean, it was about 6 months. It was probably a day, but it felt like 6 months. Not really.
So we have to mention the 007 No Time to Die stunt driving. I went and watched the clips of your stunts, and that seems absolutely terrifying.
Just watch the clips. You got to watch the whole thing.
Why would you do that? Watch the clips.
I'm not a movie person.
Really?
No.
Never watch movies?
Not really. I don't have Netflix or
Wow.
I don't have any. The only streaming service I have is to watch F1.
Really?
Yeah.
That is commitment. Congratulations.
I'm the complete opposite.
Oh, really?
I will binge everything.
Nice. What are you
Everything.
watching at the moment? We're so off topic, but
That's so fine.
What am I watching? I started, what's one where they're at White Lotus? Have you watched White Lotus?
Everyone's
Yeah.
talking about The Last of Us, and I'm really feeling left out.
I started that too, actually, and have you watched The Last of Us?
no.
You should watch it, it's very good.
Oh, really?
It's like about the end of the world.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't watch that.
That's very good.
Sorry, back on topic.
No, we
Where
love
are we?
that. That's what it's about. That's what we're here for.
How did you prepare for those stunts? And in that role?
Oh, God. I can't obviously speak too specifically, but if I was talking about a stunt in general, there'd be a lot of preparation, there'd be a lot of working out, there'd be a lot of working out that I don't do as well. There's lots of obviously safety involved, and I always compare them, they're kind of similar to racing, but not. I've always said that they're the same set of skills that you use for racing. You just use them in a completely different way. There's a lot of preparation, as I say, and planning. And you practice as much as you can, but obviously a lot of the time you can't practice on location.
Yeah.
You have to practice off of location, and then it's when you're on location, that's the first time that you do it, you know, at the actual place, but you map it out as best as you can back in the UK or at the studios or something like that.
That's insane. I could not even, it seems like so much fun though, is it?
It's amazing, it's absolutely amazing. It's just...
Or are you terrified as well?
No, I think if I was terrified, I shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, like, with you're always aware of the dangers that are around, but if you let that overtake your thought process or anything, it would be a bad thing. So
Yeah, I guess that's with anything in life. If you let fear take over, you just don't do it.
Exactly. So, and I absolutely love it. Like, to me, it's fun. I don't see it as a job. I get to go sideways a lot in cars. And, you know what I mean? It's just, I love what I do. So.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. So we got to watch you race in Singapore, actually, in the W Series.
Oh, wait, so you were there?
Yeah.
Oh, mega.
Yeah. The W Series is now ended, and now we've moved into F1 Academy. What do you think of F1 Academy? Do you think it's the step in the right direction?
We say W Series is ended, but we still don't actually know. Like, I think, you know, there's a lot of people working very hard to still make it happen, so I'm hoping that it may still continue, to be honest, but sadly I don't have any answers black and white for you. But F1 Academy, obviously it's not something that I'm going to be racing in, but I think it's another great platform to give females the opportunity to showcase their talent. It's also, you know, making figureheads for the younger generation to view and realise that women are capable and should be in racing. But yeah, I wish them all the best. I'm obviously rooting for the W Series girls.
Yes. There's quite a few.
There is, isn't there? Yeah. Quite a few. Best of luck to them. I'm excited to watch it. I'm obviously going to be watching closely. Probably a bit sad that I'm not in it myself. Actually, definitely sad I'm not going to be in it myself. I wish them all the best, and I'll be supporting from the sidelines.
Do you have any plans to race this year?
I'm racing this year, yeah. So I was racing last weekend, had my first race of the season. We finished third, first and fourth.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. So we came away from the first weekend in second position, or second place in a championship.
Yeah.
I think we've proved that we're fast enough and we can win races. So it's a new car for me as well, obviously. It's something called a Praga. I'm racing for the University of Wolverhampton.
Oh yeah, actually I did see that, but I wasn't sure what it was all about.
Everybody in the team is a student, all the mechanics.
That's incredible.
It's amazing, yeah, it's really great.
Wow.
Really, really great. So,
and you're all learning together, which I think is so valuable.
I know, and it's great. I think it's important to give back to the younger generation, because these are the kids that are going to be working in Formula One day.
Yeah,
and you know, it's a kind of once in a lifetime opportunity for them to get hands-on at such a young age.
Yeah, imagine if we had something like that when we were younger. You know, like
Yeah, it does make me wonder what what F1 is going to look like in 10 years with all these great initiatives happening at like a base level.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I think we're in a good space. We're louder than we were. You know, when Formula One was a few years ago, it's massive. It's booming at the moment, isn't it? So I think we're going to have an influx of young talent wanting to work within the sport.
Definitely. It's crazy how much it's grown in the last like 3 years.
Massive, isn't it? I think Drive to Survive is a big plays a big part in that.
Definitely. We came in 2019. We bought our ticket the day before for Melbourne.
Oh, really?
And now we had to buy our tickets like November.
Are you serious?
And it sold out in like 5 minutes.
It was the most stressful 5 minutes of my life.
I bet. I bet you could probably get it off of a resale.
They were $400. Some people were selling them for $1,000.
Wow.
And that's crazy.
It just shows how big the sport is, though, I guess.
Yeah.
And this is the event to be at in Australia.
Yeah. We need more races down here.
Opportunities for women in motorsport definitely have increased and taken a step in the right direction. From the outside, it feels like there are some big steps to take still as a person who is experiencing it. Where do you feel the industry needs to improve?
I think that however we look at it, we are definitely have taken a step forward in many different areas of Formula One. It is more inclusive now, and whilst the female numbers are lower than what we'd perhaps like, we're definitely much further forward than what we were a few years ago. So I think that we just keep what we're doing, we keep pushing, and we keep the visibility up, because that's, I think, half the issue, or has been. And there are more figureheads now for the younger generation to look up to. And we just need to genuinely, I think we need to keep doing what we're doing. Not expect anything to just change overnight. But just keep making little steps towards the right direction.
Yeah, be loud, be here.
Yeah, we're here. Like, we're here. We deserve to be here as much as anybody else.
Yeah, and I think it doesn't matter your background or where you come from, but I think anyone should have a place in Formula One, and I think breaking that stigma down has definitely started, but I definitely feel like there's still a long way to go, especially within the fan community as well.
Of course, and it's a friendly place, you know, it's not a...
We were just talking. We're like,
really?
Because this is our first time in the paddock. We were just talking about before we had you on that it's so calm and everyone's so friendly and like all the teams are intermingling and like it's just.
Well,
it's relaxed.
Yeah,
it is chill. I mean, bear in mind it is Thursday.
Yeah, very true.
So
very true.
It's I guess lots of setting up and no on-track action today and lots of media. But yeah, it's a friendly. It's not when I imagined the Formula One paddock before I got here myself, I thought it was this big scary man's world that you had to be accepted into, like you had to be like this cool person. And then I arrived and I was like, it's actually not what I thought it was. It's amazing. Everyone's really lovely. Everyone shares the same desire. I think you have to be a kind of person to work in Formula One. You have to be like driven. You have to be, because you can't. These people wouldn't work all these hours and, you know, leave their families at home every weekend to travel the world. And you know, if they didn't love the sport and they didn't want to win, like that, everybody's like-minded people, and there's so much dedication and commitment that goes into making Formula One Formula One.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's definitely amazing. Like I think that it's come, like when you're on the outside of it and you're looking in, I think it's so easy to assume so much. But like coming in, you're like, the first thing I noticed, I'm like, okay, there's so many more women in here than I expected, and there's like the environment's so different to how you perceive it from the out. Like just those gates put up this big facade, which is I find incredible.
If I look around now, there's...
Yeah. we jinxed ourselves. We're a little bit more...
We're actually sat around women, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. We are. It's fantastic.
Do you think being a woman has ever hindered your career progression?
That is, to me, that's a really difficult question to ask, because I guess in reality, I don't know, and I will never know.
Yeah.
But I would say... The reality is I don't know. But I don't think so. I don't think that my gender has ever held me back. I think that potentially at a young age it may have been difficult to be taken seriously, because despite a great CV and karting, like British champion, won some stuff over in Europe, and I never got that break, you know. And okay, maybe I wasn't I didn't come from a wealthy family or anything, which to be honest is half the issue. I was never given that break, you know. Would I have been given that break as a boy? I think probably not. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's difficult to tell, but definitely more difficult to be taken seriously. Almost as if like, oh, it doesn't matter, like she'll never make it 'cause she's a girl. That kind of thing. Maybe. I don't know. But I don't think my gender's ever held me back.
And but that's also like really great to hear, because then it for other women that want to get into driving, or non-binary people that want to get into driving, they hear that, then they know, like...
Better now than it was. Like, this was 20 years ago, guys.
Yeah.
This was 20 years ago when it was... I could name on one hand the amount of female racing drivers that I knew.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore. It's not like that. There are so many I couldn't name them all.
I think you could say it for anything, like, have we been hindered in any... I think it's changing in the world in general as well.
I've always worked in male-dominated careers, so I think the comment that you've made about being taken seriously is, I resonate with that, because I was like a chef beforehand, and then I got into audio engineering, and I think in both the percentage of women is like 5%,
Really? Wow.
So yeah, I can definitely see that because there are so many times where they'll be like, "Oh, let me do it. Like it's fine. Don't worry about it." And like they doubted my skills and kind of didn't take I didn't take it as serious as them. But at the same time, I think the other hand that it also gives me a leg up in certain ways.
Yeah. I guess it works some ways, in others it doesn't.
Yeah.
Don't know, difficult question, I think.
A lot of our audience express that they want to work in the motorsport community. What's the best advice have you got for them?
Best advice. Right, here we go. I can speak for hard work and determination pays off. And anything worth having doesn't come easily. So if you want it, go and get it. Eventually doors will open. That may be in a day, that may be in a week, it may be in a year, it may be in 10 years. But if you work hard enough and keep trying, something will happen at some point. And if you lose out on one opportunity or you don't quite get one opportunity, it will be because there's another opportunity in X amount of time that is better suited to you.
Yeah.
So really, I stand by this, that hard work and there's no substitute for hard work and determination, and just keep trying.
Yeah, I totally. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received, and who was it from?
I actually can't remember who it was from, but somebody told me to keep in contact with everybody that you meet.
Yeah.
Which is actually really, really quite difficult because you meet a lot of people. But I guess that was a really good bit of advice. You know, always check in with people.
Yeah.
And what's another best bit of advice someone has told me? When I was a young kid, I was always told that bit of advice that I just said before, like, just work hard. That's the long and the short of it. And I think that there's no substitute for it. That's probably the best bit of advice someone's given me.
Yeah, I agree. I think also having like the mindset of there's always someone working harder is like something that I live by. Is like, okay, it's like if I want this, but I know that there's always going to be someone working harder, so I need to strive for that.
Yeah, you need to be the hardest working.
This is your favourite question?
Oh my God, yes. We know you bleed green, but can you give us an Australian Grand Prix prediction of who you think is going to be on the podium?
Oh, savage. Let me give you a stat. So, Fernando Alonso... No, wait. Let me retract. No, yeah, wait, yeah. Fernando Alonso has had 100 podiums, right? Every person that's been on the podium for the 101st time, it's always been with a win.
That's a fun fact.
Yeah. So will it be Australia? I don't know. We know we've got work to do to catch up to Red Bull. I'd like to think that we're looking strong for another podium. Lance has had some pretty bad luck up until this point, hasn't he? Yeah. So I think it's about time he got some glory as well. But yeah, we'll see. The regulars that we see this year, I'm guessing is going to podium again.
I think my prediction was a double Aston and
Double Aston podium. Wouldn't that just be fantastic?
Yeah, I think we both said similar.
That would be
and then
amazing.
I threw in Pierre because I like Pierre, so I was like, yeah, whatever.
You don't know, anything could happen. Is
Is he your favourite driver?
Kinda.
Is that like he's your favourite driver?
I mean, yeah.
I can't choose. I think it's a bit different for both of us.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite driver?
I don't think I have a favourite because I spent last year trying to learn about all the teams and really appreciate all the teams and drivers for who they were. So I have favourites of like a weekend. But
I don't know why I said kind of. Mine is Lewis, and it always has been for a long time.
Lewis is your favourite driver.
But yeah, I try to share the love around because I think that I really try to appreciate all the teams for who they are and what they represent, and the same for the drivers. And I think there's some drivers that are very misrepresented in media.
Of course.
Yeah. But that's what I feel like. Yeah, Aston's my favourite at the moment. But
Of course we are.
Yeah.
Same.
That was the right answer.
But I also feel bad for Charles at the moment. He's had a year and a bit of bad luck.
Yeah.
We are the Aston fan club on our podcast. It's literally just Aston all week, every week.
Yeah, and then I put up there was a video I put up of like me reacting to, was it Saudi? I think so. Or was it Bahrain? It must have been Bahrain. I put up like reacting to like all the moments for Aston. Yeah, and I got a lot of love, which was really nice because I feel that Lance doesn't get a lot of love in the media sometimes and in social media.
I think it's improving, isn't it? He's such a great guy that people just don't see it.
Definitely.
But no, he's a really, really amazing guy and a very, very talented driver as well. So
Yeah, I think that it also
he's just not as out there as some of the other drivers, is he? Like, he doesn't post as much as what some do, but that's just him. I understand it. I understand the whole posting thing sometimes.
Yeah, I think that he has his own privacy that he respects.
Exactly,
and that,
and he's well within his rights to do that.
Exactly, yeah. And then there are some. I think the more loved drivers are the ones that share most of their lives.
Of course, but some don't want to do that, you know? I think you do or you don't. You're either that person or you're not.
Yeah.
Really, I think, aren't you? So I like to live in the moment as well. I don't like to walk around with my phone out all the time, and sometimes I do it because I feel like I should do it, not because I want to do it, you know?
Yeah.
But that's just how it is in the moment, I guess.
Yeah, social media is such a funny place in general.
It is.
But I definitely feel like it's starting to make a change for the better. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
We really appreciated the chat.
It's been great to meet you both.
It's been lovely to meet you. You said that you always keep in contact with people you meet, so don't forget us.
I won't forget you, ladies. I'll see you back here next year.
Yeah.
Same time, same place.
All right, done.
Now, I just want to say another big thank you if you have listened to this episode. Another big thank you to Aston Martin, the whole team. Without them, this wouldn't have been possible, and to spend a few hours with them and learn so much was a really amazing opportunity. And to our listeners, opportunities like this don't happen on their own. Without your support, we would be nowhere. So thank you so much for that. Now, if you like this episode, please like, subscribe, follow, give us 5 stars, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Spotify. We have a website, we have the whole lot. So come and join our community, come and check it out. Until next week, love you, bye.